Welcome to Snake Cinema Music Reviews, but there's no review on this video. This video is a Snake Prince vlog, aka Whatever Wednesday. It's basically where I talk about whatever I want, and in today's video I'm talking about my dream animals, the animals that I wish and hope to one day have. Now, some disclaimer, some of these animals on this list I'm never going to have. I'm just realistically, not that legally I can have, like in the state I'm in, I can have them as a pet or for educational purposes, but financial wise, space wise, at the moment I can't get certain animals on this list. But I still want to share what's my favorite dream animals, what animals I want. Now, for those who are new to the channel, don't know much about me, I'm Prince Elias. I am the host of Snake Cinema and Music Reviews, and usually in these videos I'll have my snakes with me, like one of my ball pythons. I have 9 ball pythons and one boa constrictor, Central American boa constrictor, a crested gecko, and a lovable chocolate lab pit bull mix. So that's my animal family, but I still want more animals. One for my business, Creative Reptiles, and also my family and I are building a ranch. We're building a ranch on property because we have a bunch of land, and so there are certain animals that I would like to have for this ranch. So, you know, sometime in the near future you guys will see certain animals on this list. But let's get to the list right now, which I'm talking about. Number one animal, dream animal that I hope to one day have, but maybe not have, and that is a rhino iguana. Now, rhino iguanas are different from the regular green iguanas that is on this shirt. Shout out to Tiki's Geckos for the US ARC Florida shirt. I love it. I also have their masks. So, and one day there's an animal on this list I hope to buy from this particular brand, Tiki's Geckos, which, spoiler, is a gecko, but you don't know which gecko until I get to that part of the list. But back to the rhino iguanas. Rhino iguanas are like the green iguanas. They're a lot different than the green iguanas. For one, they are known to be the most docile and tameable, especially if you work with them. Green iguanas have a reputation of being hard to work with. You know, the type of iguanas that's for experts only or intermediate reptile keepers, where the rhino iguana, a lot of people advocate for them who own them, say that the more intermediate reptile, maybe not a beginner, but intermediate reptile owner could raise up or own a rhino iguana. And there's certain breeders that I wouldn't mind buying from, aka Ty Park is one of them, you know, or Camp Kennan, amazing reptile breeders. I would love to buy a rhino iguana from one of them, and I would like it to be a female, preferably, just so I can name her Maleficent. Because to me, iguanas, to me any big lizard, any giant lizard, whether it's a water monitor or iguana or whatever, to me they are so close to having a pet dragon that humans are ever going to get. So yeah, so that is my number one dream reptile to have, and 9 times out of 10 it will be easy for me to get this. It just might take, as a matter of fact, I could probably get this reptile next year in 2021, most likely. So fingers crossed, because I do have the space. I have the space for it as a baby. I can have it in my temporary current home, and by the time we expand the ranch, I will be able to have both an outdoor and indoor enclosures for these reptiles, because they do get big and they do require space. So don't get a rhino iguana thinking that you can have it in your 1-bedroom apartment. It might be a little tough. The cage, the inside cage itself might take over half the apartment depending on your square footage. So, you know, just think about that. But I love rhino iguanas. I think they're so dope out of the iguana family. and I hope to one day have one, hopefully next year. Number 2. Now, I do have a lot of ball pythons, but there is one ball python that I've always wanted since the very beginning, but it was outside of my price range when I first started collecting reptiles. Now granted, some of you might say, hey, you could have gotten this particular ball python for the same price that you spent for 3 or 4 of your ball pythons that you got at home. That is true. That is true for those math wizards. However, the ball pythons I have right now came to me in parts of my life where basically some of them are rescues, some of them were given to me by people. So yes, you're right, for the price of 3 or 4 of my ball pythons I have now, I could have gotten this one. But anyways, I will say that this particular ball python I really want, but I'm gonna wait till I expand and have more space to add more snakes to my collection, and that is the pied ball. Now the pied ball is a single gene, but it's the ones where, of course I'll insert a picture in this video, in this vlog, but it's the one that has to splat the different breaks of its skin, where you can have high whites, you can have low whites. And for me, a regular pied ball is beautiful, but also the banana pieds and the Mojave pieds are so beautiful. I just love those colorations, those designs, those patterns on the snake, and I just think it's a beautiful snake. So I would like to own at least one pied ball python, and I'll be good. I'll be straight. No more ball pythons. I love the animals that I have now, and if I add this to my collection, then my ball python collection will be complete. I'm not even looking to breed any of my ball pythons. I just love these particular snakes. These are my favorite snakes. Some people say they're pet rocks or boring animals, but my ball pythons are not boring. Like, they're very active and I enjoy them. I enjoy working with them. I enjoy taking them to the classroom to show my students. I love ball pythons. I love using them for photographies and photo shoots. We get booked up here in the city. My business is growing every year. We get more and more clients, and they're just great. They're great pet snakes, and like I said, I'm not looking to breed any of them. I just love them, and the pied ball is one of the ones that's on my wish list, which I could probably get this year, but right now I'm not, for responsibility and grown-up reasons, you know. Now, number three dream animal. The next dream animal is the Ackie monitor. Now, Ackie monitors are one of the smaller animals. I'll insert a picture somewhere in this video, but it's one of the smaller of the monitor group. I would love to have a water monitor, but unfortunately the price range to buy one, the price range to take care of one and house, and the size required for those type of water monitors are outside of my, outside of what I can realistically do. A lot of people can do it, but me, I can't. But if I were to get a monitor lizard, it would be the Ackie. I've done the research and I can afford one. I can afford to house one as a baby and as an adult. I can afford to feed it and and give it a proper life and give it enough size, cage, enclosures, whatever, whether it's outside, inside, whatever, both. So yeah, Ackies are more reasonable for me to have on, work with, raise up, whatever, in the monitor lizard group. So yeah, I would like to have an Ackie monitor. Will I ever get one? Not sure, because the rhino iguana is the #1 on my list as far as lizards go. So who knows, I might not ever get an Ackie, but if I decide to get one, I could afford one and afford to care for one. Now, the next one on my list, the next one that I hopefully could buy from either Tiki's Geckos or another big gecko breeder, is the Leachianus gecko, aka the Leachies. These are the biggest of the gecko family, and when I tell you they are fire, They are so cool. They're so weird. They're like little aliens. It's just so cool, and I would love to own one. So hopefully within the next couple of years I could get me a lychee. Now they are on the expensive side when it comes to buying the upfront costs, but as far as care, enclosures, food, things like that, I could easily take care of. It's just the upfront costs right now because of their breeding and how rare they are right now in the pet trade. They are so damn expensive. Even the babies from about $500–600. Like, what? So imagine if I wanted to buy an adult. Like, yeah. So gotta save up some money for that one. Sorry about that. My battery died in the middle of recording. So where were we? Oh yes, the next dream animal that I want in my collection, that I might have in my collection within the next year or two or so. And that is, it's a tie, because they look kind of similar but kind of don't, depending on how many genes are inside of it. And that is the albino motley or the sun glow boa. Now I do have a boa, a Central American boa, a regular Central American boa named Morticia. I love her to death. She's amazing, and I've learned a lot about boa constrictors because of her. And I would like to have a second boa, but this time I want a little fancier, little different coloration, a different morph, if you will, design. And I am in love with the orange-ish, reddish type boas, and sometimes the yellowish boas, so in that range between red, yellow, orange, those colors. And so far my favorite genetics, my favorite morphs are the albino motleys and the sun glows. Some people who don't know anything about morphs might look at certain pictures and think I don't see a difference, but there is, and breeders will know. Reptile enthusiasts, boa constrictor lovers, they will know. But it doesn't matter to me which one I get, whether it's a sun glow, whether it's an albino motley. I just like them both, but you know, I have to just choose one because I don't want a house full of boa constrictors. So yeah, so either one will be coming to Creative Reptile soon, sooner than later, and I cannot wait. I love those snakes. They are so beautiful. And when it comes to the big snakes, you know, the boas, the retics, the I'm drawing a blank, Burmeses, all those big snakes are wonderful, but for my lifestyle, for my budget, for my needs, for my personality, the boas are top tier big snakes for me. Now, the next on my list, the only reason why I haven't gotten one has nothing to do with price, but with age. This particular animal, if I get it, I'm gonna buy it when it's an adult or an older age, because they outlive their humans. This species of animals, they all, regardless of what morph, regardless of what breed, regardless of what type, they are long-living animals, long-living creatures. They outlive their humans, and pretty much anybody who owns these type of animals gotta have a will set up, because especially people me at my age, 30 and above, if you buy this as a baby, you better have some people down the line in your will to take care of this animal when you leave, because 9 times out of 10 this animal will outlive you. And that is a tortoise, but specifically for me, a redfoot tortoise, or cherry heads as some people may call them. I love the way these tortoises look. They don't get too big, like people who live in apartments could own these. They don't get too big like the Galapagos or any of those other big, huge, giant tortoises that you need a backyard for. So redfoot tortoise I could get right now as an adult and take care of in my temporary home, but also when we build and expand the ranch, I can have an outdoor enclosure for the spring and summer months, and then have an indoor enclosure for the winter months for this. So redfield tortoises definitely on that list. Okay, we are almost done with the dream reptiles, and then I think I got 2 more reptiles on this list, dream animals, and then I have some mammals that I'm definitely going to get. It's a dream of mine, but we'll get to that later. Okay, second to last reptile on this list. Now this one may not happen, but at the same time it may happen, and it all depends on financing, not just upfront costs, because that's a pretty penny as well, but taken care of over time, take care of for some years, take care. And this I just wanted my personal collection. I ain't trying to breed, ain't trying to do none of that. I just really love this type of animal, and I want one. And legally I can have one because our state don't have any regulations on it. So sorry to the people who have to have strict laws, but this isn't banned in my state, at least for right now. And I might need to hurry up and make a decision before that changes, because laws change just like that. But the dwarf caiman, specifically the Cuvier's dwarf caiman. Now, there is a top breeder that I really want to get one from, and it's Nerd Kevin McCurley. I think I said his last name. I'm sorry if I butchered it, but from Nerd New England Reptiles. He is the king of not only caimans and monitors, but having them socialized by the time you buy them, because as soon as they hatch out the egg, as soon as they're born, he's already getting them socialized and used to humans. And so and he doesn't charge a cheap penny. His animals are not cheap, so rightfully so, because he works so hard with them, not only in the breeding, but even after they are born. He works so hard on these animals, getting them socialized, getting them used to human touches, getting them to stay to where they're manageable for the most part. And he's very well educated. If you watch his videos, he's very good on educating you on all the type of animals that he have. So that if I were to buy one, I'm not buying it from anyone else but Kevin at New England Reptiles. But the Cuvier's dwarf caiman, I love crocodilians. I'm crazy about crocodilians. I used to live in Florida, and when I did, I remember leaving my apartment once, and it was a wild alligator just crossing the street. And I've just been so fascinated with these animals, these big old giant dinosaurs that God created, that they were alive during during the dinosaur ages, and they survived, they evolved over the years. And I just love all crocodilians, caimans, alligators, crocs, all of them. But the Cuvier's dwarf caiman, my top favorite. I really want one. Again, it's just all about financing, and if I do get one, I have to make a decision before any laws in my state change, because I don't live in Florida or any of these other places that have strict laws where you have to have a license. Even if that was the case, I would definitely work towards getting a license. But right now, legally, I could have a dwarf caiman. And there are some guys who sell some in my state. I see them at the reptile expos all the time. But like I said, if I'm going to get one, I want one from Nerd, from Kevin, because it's top quality animals, and you know that you're going to get a good animal. Again, dwarf caimans, they're still caimans, they're still crocs, they're still in that family, so they're not going to be puppy dog tame, but they could be manageable, and they're only for a certain type of person. And I feel like I'm that type of person who could own one responsibly. Always about responsibly. Last reptile on the list, last reptile on my dream animal list, my goal list, is a super dwarf or a dwarf retic. Now, I'm not picky about where, if I were to buy one, where I get one from, but I would like to get one from Reach Out Reptiles. I'm sorry, mind drawing blank. Reach Out Reptiles. I would like to get one of theirs. They specialize in dwarf retics and super dwarfs because I love retics. I know a bunch of people who owns them. Those snakes are wonderful, but I need something that I can manage, which is why I would choose a boa first before a retic. First of all, I love their personalities more, but retics have some good personalities too, even the feisty ones. But I need something that I could manage, because when you own a full-grown retic, you'll have to have 2 or 3 people to help you manage that. Otherwise, you could be at very high risk of an accident, an injury. It's just what it is. These are big snakes. These are long snakes. These are strong snakes, and they're not vicious or malicious off the bat. It's just that you could be holding and it just accidentally choke you, and once it gets a grip, you know, it's kind of hard to manage. That's why they say most people who own the retics need about 2 or 3 people to assist just in case. And the size, the housing, that's also a reason why I'll probably never own a retic. The housing, the size of the enclosures, they are big, long animals, and they need space and they need things to climb. So if I were to get that big of an animal, I would rather get a dwarf or a super dwarf. They're very manageable. They don't get as big, and a lot of them super dwarf and dwarf colors are very nice too as well. So yeah, not sure if I will ever own a retic, but if I do, it will be a dwarf or a super dwarf. But it may not happen. It's just a dream animal of mine, and I really think that they're cool. If not, I have plenty of friends who live here in my city who owns retics of all types, super dwarfs, the regular retics, that I could just go hang out at their place and play with those animals if I never own one. So I have options. Now, away from the reptiles, away from the cold-blooded animals, let's talk about my dream animals that 9 times out of 10 I'm going to get within 5 to 10 years, God willing. So let's jump to it. And they're both a part of the same camel family. They're both a part of the same familia, but just they do have their differences. And one is the alpaca. The second is a llama. These are herd animals, and when I have a ranch, you know, when people have ranches, they either have cows, horses, goats, pigs, sheep, or all of the above. Me personally, I would like to have a little, not a big, but a little small alpaca / llama farm. I've researched into their care. The upfront costs for the animals are expensive, but at the same time not really, especially when I become a full-blown teacher and get my teacher's license. They're very easy to take care of. They're very manageable, especially the alpacas. They're very easy to tame. They're very docile creatures. They're not, and they don't bite. You know what their defenses are? They might kick, but they just spit on you. Like if you piss them off or you scare them, they spit on you. So, and one thing I found out about the llamas is that the llamas are like guard dogs. They protect their herd and they protect their land. So if you get any wild animals, any wild dogs or anything coming into your yard, the llamas will attack. The llamas will defend the herd. And so I definitely want a llama or 2, and maybe 2, if I can afford it, 3 alpacas, and they just be my core herd. But yeah, so those are my dream animals. Those are the animals I hope to have for Creative Reptiles / my family ranch that we're building and expanding on our land. What are your favorite animals? What are your dream animals? What animals do you wish you could own but you can't, or what, due to financial reasons, due to laws in your state? What animals do you wish you could have but maybe right now you can't get, or you probably can get and it's just not the time yet? So comment below. Comment below. Tell me what you think, what you like. Do you like any on my list? And if so, I will like to stress this enough. I got to stress this enough. do your research. Don't just buy these animals or any animal on a whim. Don't buy no dog, no cat, no hamster, no goat, no snake, no lizard, no alpacas. Don't buy no animal on a whim if you ain't got the housing / enclosures. If it's a reptile, if you ain't got the heat with the thermometers, the thermostats and everything. If you can't afford the food, if you ain't got everything set up and ready for that animal, and also if you ain't got the money to put in vet bills, savings account and stuff, enough money for food and vet bills and stuff, do not go out and buy these animals. There are way too many animals on Craigslist right now of people having to rehome for whatever reason or sell for whatever reason. There's a lot of neglected animals, sick animals, animals in shelters because people impulse buy because they saw someone else have one, they think it's cool, and they go and buy it, and then a month or a couple of years later they have to rehome, and it's just sad. It's just sad. And that's another thing, like the invasive species in Florida. The reason why Florida's trying to ban wonderful animals like iguanas and stuff and retics and Burmese is because people in the past bought animals on a whim just because they thought it was cool, just because they wanted. They didn't do no research. Then when it became too much for them to handle, they discarded them, threw them out in the wild, and they became an invasive species and took over. So don't do that. Don't do that. Do your research before buying or investing in any animal. I've done my research on everything on this list, everything that I've said in this video, which is why I know some of these animals I might not ever own and some I might own, but it's just going to take a minute for me to get, because I did the research, I did the work, I did the budgeting. Don't buy, and have a purpose. Have a purpose for these animals. Me, some of these will be personal pets, and some of these are for my business, my creative photography business / education business as an educator. So have a purpose. Don't just buy stuff on a whim that you're going to discard like a Christmas toy. Don't do that, because it's not good for the animal, it's not good for you, and it's not good for the hobby, it's not good for the community. People like US ARC, especially in Florida, are fighting the government, because the government, especially in Florida, are constantly trying to ban animals because they don't understand or because of irresponsible owners. Don't be the cause of these issues. Don't be the reason why we can't own these beautiful animals or have these beautiful pets, or people who've had pets responsibly for years have to have them taken away from them. Don't do that. Don't be that guy. So yeah, I'm off my soapbox. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed this list of my dream animals, and I can't wait till when I do finally have those animals, I show y'all on the channel. But that's it for Snake Prince Vlogs, aka Whatever Wednesday, where I talk about whatever I want. Come back for our regular schedule. Mondays, snake movie reviews, and Fridays, snake music reviews. Please comment, subscribe, and I will check you guys out in the next video. Peace.